Hello arty peoples and welcome to another episode of Jerry's Live. My name is Emmy Klein and I'm your host this evening, and today's show is our official holiday gift guide. So there is a lot of stuff to go over, and in the past I know Amy has put together sets for you guys specific to each different category that she was going over, and I'm going to be kind of doing similar but slightly different. So what I really wanted to focus on were the big categories, and I would love to go into all the drawing and printmaking and all the other different categories that there are. We just simply don't have enough time, so I tried to stick with the big ones. We have watercolor, acrylics, oils, and then I also have a miscellaneous category for kind of a little bit of everything for everyone. Now, what I am going to be planning on doing for those of you who are watching probably in the future from now is in the end of the show, I'm going to go over all the different timestamps and put in a description so you guys can actually see the different categories and where they're going to land within the video, because I know this is going to be a long one. So let's jump in. First category I wanted to go over is watercolors. So today's class is JL220. Now, because there are so many different things that I'm going to be going over, I actually did break up the teacher's carts for you guys. So for the watercolors, it's JL220 with a W at the end. So if you go to the website jerrysartorama.com and type in this code in the search bar, all of the things that I'm going to be going over specifically for watercolors will come up. Now, the first couple items in that list are going to be these sets, because maybe you want to purchase a gift for somebody who hasn't quite gotten into this type of a category yet, or maybe you just want to get a nice big set for somebody and just one and done and you're good. So I have a couple options for you guys. The very first thing that I have is this. This is the Marie's 48 color watercolor set. Now, as you can see, you get 48 colors of the pans in here. You also get a couple of brushes. You get a couple of pieces of charcoal, which is really cool. Some tortillons, or like the blending stumps, if that's what you call them. You also get a adorable little ceramic dish, some water brush pens, and a natural sponge. Now, all of that comes in this kit, and the cool thing is it completely closes, and it's one very compact, adorable little travel kit. So you can toss this in your bag and then go do watercolors, which is really awesome. The other thing that I almost forgot to tell you is that it does have this double mixing tray. Now, this top one actually does pop right off, which is really cool. It does have little hooks on there that it will pop right back on as well. So then you can close it back up and keep going, but you do have a little extra mixing space. But this comes with quite a lot of things for your dala. And sorry, I have notes because there's a lot of stuff. That right now is on sale for $62.99. So I did check prices this morning, so just be aware that was this morning's price. Now, the next set that I do have is a watercolor painting set that has the Lucas Aquarelle 1862, I almost said 1682, 1862 watercolors. Now, they come in the tube, so these are not the dry pans. These are the actual wet watercolors that are in the tube, so you can squeeze them out on your palette and then work in that way. Now, you do get 12 different colors, huge variety, just your basic standard colors, but they are quite pigmented. They're very nice. So you get all 12 of those colors. Then you also get the Fabriano watercolor block. Now, it is the cold pressed, and it is 9 by 12, so you do get a lovely little bit of texture to your paper. And that's what comes in this set, as well as the Mimic. This is the Kolinsky, yes, the Kolinsky sable brushes. Almost said the squirrel. I'll show you those later. But the Mimic Kolinsky comes in this nice little leather travel set, and this is the coolest thing ever. So they are the travel watercolor brushes. You actually can unfold them and use it like a normal traditional watercolor brush, nice and full length. And then once you're done, you can pop this right back on, close it up, and the cool thing is that because of the way that it closes, it actually holds your brush in the middle of this travel tube and it doesn't damage those bristles. But they are a really lovely synthetic sable brush, so it does absorb water very nicely. So that is the second set that I got for you guys. Now that set is on sale for $145.49. Typically speaking, on average, it is $336.50. So I just wanted to let you know you get a really good discount right now. So that is this specific set. Now, maybe you want to go for something that is a little beefy. Maybe you want to go for something that is a little super fancy. So this right here is a French easel watercolor box set. Not only do you get the two different travel watercolor palettes, you have a wood one, nice and lightweight as well. You can use either side. You also get a metal one, which is really cool. I actually very much like this for my watercolors. But you also get 18 colors, I believe. Let me just double check this. I believe, yes, 18 colors in this box set, which if I tip it a little bit, you guys can see in this drawer right here, which actually does close, you have 5 different brushes, which is amazing. You get a good variety. There's round, there's flat, there's a filbert. I believe there's even a the nice long pointy rigger brush, which is great if you're going to be doing all kinds of plein air painting. And then yes, the 18 colors of the Lucas 1862 Aquarelle as well. So the wet watercolors, and they are beautiful paints. Now, once you are officially done painting with this guy, because it does unfold to a full French easel, and unfortunately I just don't have the space to kind of show you that, but this does completely fold up into a nice little compact box, which I have things in my way, I'm sorry, but it will actually completely fold up, and then it has the, that's why it's not folding up. Can't see it from that side. There we go. So this box actually does fold up, and then you have the nice travel handle here that can strap over your shoulder, and then you can just grab and go, which is really cool. So that is the French easel box. It's actually not that heavy as well. It does have a little bit of weight to it, but the price on this bad boy, I believe it's on super sale today. So this box kit right now is $159.99. Typically speaking, the list price is $562. Isn't that insane? So that is an incredible sale price, and I just absolutely love that. So for anybody who loves doing plein air painting, and specifically for watercolors, that is a really nice watercolor box. Now, besides sets, because sometimes we have those artists in our life that have everything, and you're just like, what do I get them? I don't know. We have some things that I wanted to share with you that is kind of a couple of fan favorites with the team here. Now, the first thing I wanted to show you is a new item, and that is a Globetrotter watercolor. It's a wristband. I always want to say a watercolor watch, because you wear it like a watch, but it's not actually a watch. It doesn't tell you the time. It just gives you the ability to create. So I'm going to attempt to put this on my wrist with myself. Whoop. Excuse me. It does have the wristbands that do slide on, so you can actually have your palette, and I dropped the thingy, excuse me. These do pop in and out, so you can remove them and refill them, but you get, there's 2 different sizes. This is the larger one actually. So this is, I do prefer to actually wear it on the side of my wrist, sorry. But they have, I believe this one has 24 colors. We do have a smaller one that has 12 colors, and then they have 6 of the little additional watercolor pans that are replacements, as well as a little watercolor brush. And this is actually super adorable. I can't help myself but love it. But this is one of the things that I use for plein air painting on my front porch, and actually the colors are just lovely and gorgeous, and some of those greens are one of my favorites. But they do come in the 2 different sets. The orange set is the 12 color set. The green is the 24, so you get a couple more colors. They're just super fun, and something your artist friends just will not have because it's brand new. Now, besides those, I did want to give you a couple different options for traveling, because maybe you already have your watercolors and you have your sets that you just absolutely love, but you just want to kind of start traveling around. So the first thing I have here is the Turner watercolor box. So not only do you get these holes up here for holding your brushes, you also get this plastic palette that comes with it. So you have spaces as well for your brushes and your tubes. And then if you actually do squeeze out your colors like we have here, you can just have the colors already set to ready to go and then go plein air painting, which is really cool. Then once you're done, you can actually fold this completely up and then just walk off and be done, which is so much fun. I love this thing so much. Now, if you don't want something quite that bulky, I do have something that is extremely compact. And to be completely honest, it's actually Amanda's favorite. She picked this one out. So this is a completely nice little foldable, this is called the folding plastic palette, which makes sense because it completely folds. It does have a thumb hole, which is actually completely for right or left-handed people. You can actually use it for either, so it's ambidextrous. You have all of the different wells for your watercolors and then a lot of mixing space. Now, you might go, why would I want that? I can just use my normal everyday palette. Well, what if you have multiple palettes? And then this one is for my autumn set, and then this one is for my portraiture. And then I have another one for, maybe I want to go plein air painting for winter. But they have just a lot of space for a lot of different colors. And it's really nice to have your palettes kind of set up, and then you can label them on the back, like this is my portraiture palette, and then it's already set to ready to go. And then this right here, I do know, is Amanda's favorite color when she mixes her black and her neutral grays. So she actually even has space for mixing colors, so two different colors that come together to form her favorite gray color, which is why that's Amanda's favorite. Mm-hmm. And this, by the way, it's only $4.90. So, I mean, you can't really beat that. Now, if you are out there plein air painting and you want to, not use a water brush, the biggest issue I already have is where do you put your water? This is the collapsible Faber-Castell little tulip cup. And it's, I think it's called the Click and Go, because it actually, when you close it, I hope you guys can hear that, has a nice little click sound to it. But it's collapsible. It holds your water. When you're done, you can toss the water and then just toss this back into your bag, and then you're good to go. That is our go-to when we go traveling around for watercolor. And then besides that, I also have the Mimic Kolinsky Sable brushes, like I just showed you earlier, so I'm not going to actually open that. But this one right here is the Mimic Squirrel, which is what I was actually going to say earlier. So this is a little different. It's a synthetic squirrel hair brush, so it's got a nice snap to it, but it does the exact same thing where it unfolds and you have a working watercolor brush that has a full-size handle, and then when you're done, pop it back around and then stick it in the case, fold it up and toss it in your backpack or your purse or whatever you have, even your pocket, because it can fit inside of a pocket. And then, you're good to go. The one thing with this one, and I believe it's this, nope, sorry, other side. I've never seen a traveling flat brush, which is my absolute favorite. I love flat brushes, they're my jam. So this one actually does have a traveling 1/4 inch flat brush, which is so much fun. So normally I see a lot of the traveling sets, they have the rounds in there, but that one has a flat. So those are your travel brushes. They are fantastic. And then I have a couple of other things that are a little different. So if your watercolor artist has, again, kind of everything, these are really fun to get them. These are just two of the several things that they offer. This is the Daniel Smith watercolor ground. So this is the transparent, this is the titanium white. So when you lay this down, you make whatever surface that you're painting on, except watercolors. This is how I painted inside of an egg, which was really fun, an actual eggshell. That was a goofy little thing that I did, but this transparent one is so much fun. I'm actually going to be putting this on top of that birch, the raw birch panels, just to get a nice transparent ground for my watercolors to go on, because I can't wait to put watercolors on top of that raw birch, but not have it like soak in and kind of bleed out a little bit. So this is going to give me a nice ground. Then I have this is kind of a 2-for-1 here. So these two are masking fluid and masking fluid brushes. The reason why I specifically always suggest getting masking fluid brushes for the use of masking fluid is that whenever you put a brush inside of masking fluid, because this is essentially rubber latex. I'm trying to say that all one word. That did not work. Rubber latex. That's what this is, and it's liquid, so when you brush it on, it resists your watercolor, which is really cool. It just doesn't come out of your brushes. So if your watercolor artists have not played with masking fluid, this is a really fun thing to play with, but get them the brushes too. Now this 10 set gives you the 2 different size brushes, and I believe it's only $6.29 for all 10 of these brushes. But if you use masking fluid, they're kind of disposable because that masking fluid's not really going to come out. Then I also have a wetting agent, Oxgall. I always forget that there is such a thing as an Oxgall whenever I'm using watercolors, but it is so crazy how this really gets your watercolors moving and kind of interacting on your page. So if your watercolor artists have not used this, I would suggest getting them a bottle because it is really, really fun. Now, besides those, I also have Creative Mark Aqua Sponge. Now the Aqua Lift is a very strange tool. It's kind of like a magic eraser for your watercolors. So when you have this, you get it wet and then you go to erase out your watercolors, which is something that just, it is a hard thing to do as a watercolor artist, is to lift that color back up off your paper, which is why you work light to dark. Now, if you do make a little bit of a mistake or you need to kind of lift off some of the color, this right here is magic. It's, like I said, essentially a magic eraser for your watercolors. But they're really cool. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and this tiny little pack right here is only $4.99. So really good stocking stuffer. Now, some of the other things I have for watercolors is the Accurate technical pens. Now this right here is something that I would also get maybe my acrylic artists or even oil painting. This is kind of almost in that miscellaneous category, but I stuck it in the watercolors specifically because these pens give you a variety of different nibs, so they go from really fine to really thick, and they also get waterproof real fast. So I had done a quick demonstration on a previous video. I honestly can't remember which one, I'm sorry. But I had wrote with one of these pens and then immediately took my brush, went to go play with some watercolors on top, and it was already dry. It was already set on my paper, and it did not bleed at all. So if you're a watercolor artist and you like to incorporate pen into your work, these are awesome, and they dry so quick. Almost said quack. All right, now the other thing that you might want to use as a watercolor artist, it's a little big, but this right here is a watercolor board. This is essentially gator foam is the other term that you can hear this being called, but it is a water resistant surface. It's super lightweight, like I'm holding it up with one hand, but it's super thick as well. So it's a nice sturdy surface for you to tape your watercolor paper on. If you want to pre-stretch your watercolor paper, you can absolutely do it on this, get it wet, attach it to here, and then let it kind of dry out to where it has that that stretch kind of already done to it. But this right here is usually when I do watercolors, I like to tape my paper down to this because it also won't accept water, so I don't have to worry about this whole board warping over time. Now, if you're going to be getting something like this for your watercolor artist, I know it seems silly to just be like, hey, you should get your watercolor artist tape. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal for us, but this is not just tape. I mean, granted, watercolor artists, we burn through this stuff, so we will use this for sure, but this is pH neutral tape, so this is not going to introduce any acidity to the papers that you're doing your artwork on, so over time, archivability, this is better for you than using like painter's tape or anything like that. Now, if you are still not 100% sure what to get your watercolor friends, your watercolor artist friends, surfaces, we can always use more paper. Specifically, sketchbooks, I know we probably have a million of these, don't judge us. but we can always use another one. If anybody gets me a sketchbook, I'm still happy, no matter how many I have at home. But these right here are the Reflections Watercolor Journal. This is specifically sized for watercolors. So I've already used this a couple of pages at the top, and there is no warpage to this sketchbook. They come in a variety of different sizes as well, but I like the square because not only can I work in the square format, I can also go across the page and have a nice landscape. But this is a fun little, just like a little stocking stuffer that I would always be ecstatic to have as an artist. Sketchbooks, you know? Then I have the Reflections postcards, which is kind of a weird little fun add-on just to kind of give your friends. So one side has the postcard, just lines already stuck on there so you guys can write and send it off to the world, but the other side's completely blank. But this is watercolor paper, so this will actually accept all the waters that you use on there, and it won't buckle. Now I will say, I believe in the teacher's card I also included the set where it's the postcards and the crystal seal bags. I actually forgot to grab those, I am sorry. But the crystal seal bags are the little plastic bags. I think they might be going to grab me some. But they're little plastic bags that you can actually stick these in to protect your artwork if you mail them off in the postal system. And then if you put the, what do we figure out? The stamp needs to go on the outside of the bag. So as long as you put that stamp on the outside of the bag, this will mail just fine. And it will actually protect your artwork from that stamp that they put on all mail that is, I believe, black light activated, as well as any dirt or anything. Ah, yes, thank you. Appreciate it. So, crystal seal bags. They come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, but specifically this one, which is the 4x6. Let me just try and grab one. So it's just a bag, just a clear bag that this will fit completely into, and then it has a peel and stick little side right here where you can actually peel and stick it and seal it back into this bag. But that is a really fun way of sending your artwork, especially out for the holidays. Cough, cough, hint, hint. Join us for our next show. We'll be doing that. That's a really fun way of doing holiday cards. It's actually just something a little bit more personal. But as far as watercolor artists, this is really fun to be playing with. Now, the last thing I have on this table here, let me make sure that the code is still visible here, I just grabbed 12x16 just because that was the size that I grabbed. We have watercolor paper. These are watercolor blocks, so they are actually glued on all four sides. The only thing that's actually not glued down is the corner here, where when you actually do your watercolors, it is stuck down and sturdy, and your watercolor paper is not going to buckle, and then you can actually peel it off and go from there and then use the next page down. But I do have, I'm sorry, this is the cold press, this is the hot press. The main difference between them is that hot press is a nice smooth surface. The cold press is going to have that a little bit of texture to it, but they're both fantastic paper. So if you just really don't know what to get those friends of yours who are watercolor artists, paper. We can always use more paper. And the cool thing is that if you do get the 12x16, we can cut it down to size if we need to, or we can use it the whole size and have a nice big piece. So that was all of the watercolor things. Again, if you are looking for my watercolor teacher cart, make sure to add this code to the search bar in jerrysartorama.com, and then everything that I just showed you should come up. Now, we also need to go over our friends who are acrylic artists. So come on over here with me and we will talk about all the things acrylic related. So again, like I wanted to show you, we have different sets available for your acrylic artists. So your friends who have dabbled in acrylic arts, or even just don't have any experience in it, and they're just not quite sure if they want to jump into it. So I have a couple different price points here. Now the first thing I wanted to show you was this set down here, which I probably shouldn't have put it out front. Oh yes, sorry. I also, for my acrylic friends, if you are looking for the teacher's cart, this is the code. You'll see what I'm doing. It's the JL220 and A for acrylics. I know. I'm so complicated. So that is the teacher's cart code for my acrylic painters. So all things acrylic related are going to be in this teacher's cart. So I did, again, the first couple of items are going to be these sets, and then at the end of that list are going to be the other individual items that I'm going to show you guys. So the very first set that I wanted to show you not only has, sorry, I probably should do this way. It has 3 different panels. So they are the Soho canvas panels. It's 11 by 14. You get 3 of them. They are a really nice cotton canvas that is already primed and ready to go. You don't have to do anything to these. All you have to do is just pull them out of the packaging and then start painting. You also get this brush set, so you don't even have to have brushes already. This is a beautiful brush set for acrylics. They are a golden Taklon, so it is pretty universal as far as the bristles are concerned, but they are great for acrylics because they have a nice softness to them. So if you want to get those nice blends and everything, these are really good for you. And they come in a huge variety of sizes. So beyond that, in that specific set, you also get the Kaleidoscope acrylics. There are 30 different colors in here, and I wanted to show you that. So you do get a huge variety of colors, and it's just a little bit of everything. And these actually do go a long way, to be honest. So a little bit will last you a good while. But 30 colors, which actually also includes metallic gold and silver, by the way. And they're fantastic. And then it comes in a nice little compact thing. I did the artwork for this, by the way, which was super fun because I got to squish paint around. But that is the Creative Inspirations Kaleidoscope. You get 30 colors, the panels, as well as the brushes. So everything you would need to start, just grab one item and then just go start doing your acrylic paintings just to see if maybe this is the medium for you. It's a really good starter set. Now that set right there is on sale right now for $26.99. All of that for $26, or I'm sorry, $27. Now, usual price for that is $61.45, so holy discounts, Batman. Now, again, remember these are the prices from this morning, so maybe it'll go on super sale later, maybe it'll be a little different, but that is the prices for this morning. So if you are looking for somebody who is maybe wanting to jump into acrylics, that's a really good one. Now, this other set that I have, let me kind of push this out of the way. Sorry, I'm going to actually toss this on the floor just so I can get it out of the way. So the other thing I have right here are technically 16 tubes of paint, but the set is 15 different colors, and you get these really nice, this is 125 milliliters of paint per each color, and then you also get an additional tube of white because, let's be honest, as artists, we burn through our white paint really fast just because we use it as mixing in all the things. Now, all 16 of these tubes of acrylics are going to be, find my place here, is $54.59 is the sale price because normal price is $68, I'm sorry, looking at the right one? Yeah, $68.19. So not only do you get all these, they also come, by the way, in a box. So all of these paints come in a box like this that closes nice and compact. If I can get it to actually close. I'm a little messy, but it does actually close. It comes in a nice box for you. So those of you who struggle like I do to wrap your presents, it's a box, which is really, really easy. So you don't have to wrap all the individual little tubes. But yes, they are a really nice little gift, especially if this is one of those things that I would also gift to my artists who are acrylic painters and just really love to just burn through their paint. This is a lot of paint for a little bit of money. So this is a really good gift set for your artist friends. Now, over here, I have something that's a little bit fancier. Now I'm going to make sure this is still visible for you guys because that's the class code. This is for those of you who have the acrylic artist who is definitely a more like a professional level, somebody who really loves doing plein air painting as well, or even just wants a really fancy set. Honestly, I want these, not gonna lie. But this is the Charvin acrylic travel box set. So not only do you get a really nice palette, which has a really good patina on the actual surface of this already, which I absolutely love. You also get this box set. This box set has, oh, what was that amount? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11? 11. I can count. 11 colors. So you get 11 colors of the Charvin acrylics, and this is the 60 milliliter tube. So this is insanely pigmented. These are professional level acrylics. They are super high quality. They're not fluid. They're not also heavy body. They're kind of right in the middle, so they have that nice consistency to them. And they will retain some brush strokes, but they will not actually retain a whole lot of texture unless you add in a medium. But you get the 11 colors. You also get a huge variety of brushes down here, which includes this big boy. It's a size 24. I mean, come on. You can do some damage on some canvases there. You also get a nice pack of charcoal. And then you also get, excuse me, a little medium cup. Now, this right here will even clip onto your palette, which I am really, really bad at doing this. I will do that later. But it will actually attach to your palette. I just don't want to jam it on there and scratch the wood. But this will hold all of your different acrylic mediums, and then it'll travel with you. It does have a rubber seal on the inside, so if you do have mediums in here and you travel and you tip your whole kit sideways, it doesn't leak, which is really nice. And then everything closes for traveling. How cute is that? And it's such a lovely wooden color. I just adore this. Anybody who is a tactile person like me, this is a really nice box set. So that is the fancy Charvin acrylic box set. This is normal. Oh, this one's on super sale, guys. Normal price for this bad boy is $592.30. It is on super sale right now for $306.99. That's insane. Absolutely insane. So that whole box set is $300, but if you are looking for a one-stop shop, this is kind of everything you need for your artist friends. And anybody who wants to get me this, feel free. Because that's a really nice set. Now the last set I have over here is a little different because I just had to throw in a pouring set. This one, it's a really fun iridescent pouring kit. So this one right here, I'm gonna get this off the table and get this kind of over here so you guys can really see it. Use my tablecloth. So this has the Liquitex pouring medium, and this is iridescent. So it has a nice shimmer to it. Then you also get the Lucas Krill Studio. This comes in 5 colors, 6 colors, 6 different colors. And then you get 2 of the 8x8 Da Vinci Pro panels. Now, we got in a kit and we had to play. So I just wanted to show you guys a nice up close shot of this because it is so lovely. Let's switch it over. So there you go. It has beautiful colors to it, but then it also has that shimmer. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't get that weird glare. There it is. Oh, look at those colors. How pretty is that? So you get everything that you need to make 2 different pouring panels. Now, you can do all kinds of different techniques with them. Just lovely, lovely kit. You don't need anything additional other than cups, granted. But everything you need is in this kit. And again, everything comes in a box. If I can close it. Guys, closing boxes are not my forte. Just FYI. Don't come at me.
Any art supply, yes. Boxes, that's what.
Boxes are my nemesis. But it comes in a nice little box. How cute is this? And even I can wrap this. right? Nice little box, nice little kit. Open it up and you get all the things that you need to make beautiful artwork. So even if you don't use all of the colors in the kit, you can then take them and paint with them because they're lovely acrylics. But those are the acrylic sets that I have in the teacher's cart. Again, here's my class code, just so we have that. But what about those artists that have a little bit of everything, all of the things? So I wanted to give you a couple different options for just things they didn't know that they needed, but they need to know that they need them. Does that make sense? First thing is a brush washing basin. A lot of my artist friends, and bless them, I adore them. They are so awesome. They're so great artists, but they put their paintbrushes in just a cup of water, which, please don't do that. You're going to ruin your brush, and you're going to also ruin the bristles. The wood is going to absorb that water. This right here is just I use this on everything. Any water-based art that I do, I always have one of these on hand. So not only does it have holes all the way around where I can hold my paintbrushes if I'm not using them, you have 3 different wells. So I like to have the big one be my messy, messy, messy water. So if I need to knock off a whole lot of pigment. It also has this texture at the bottom. I wonder if actually, can we get an up close shot on this so I can really show them? I didn't even think about, yes. So you have these little ridges on this side. So that will actually really knock your brushes quite clean. Sorry, let me make sure. There we go. You guys can see it. Haha. And then you also have these 2 additional wells. So I like to have water that's just filled up to where I can have it in each well without them tipping over into each one. So this is my dirty water area, and then I have these 2 to where if I need clean water, this is how I roll. This is also really, really, really good for watercolor artists. Now besides that, you also get this adorable little lid that, you know, completely shuts it. And then it has an adorable little handle. It gives me little Red Riding Hood vibes.
These are also great if you have really young artists who like to paint.
Yes, very, very true. This is really good for the little kids. And then beyond that, this also kind of turns into, sorry, it's white. It's very bright color. So this also turns into a palette. So if you don't have this paper on top, you have a little kind of spot where you can pull it on and off of there without having to have nails to like really pick this up and open. But this is a really awesome little tool that I use on a daily basis. So if you have a watercolor artist, an acrylic artist, artist that does water-based media and they're shoving all of their brushes into a cup, get them this. Thank you, and please get them this. But beyond that, I wanted to also show you a really fun little kind of add-on to colors that you might not be familiar with. So this is the 12 Shades of Grey acrylic set. And I'll show you the oil set in just a minute, but they have 12 different colors, and this one I actually swatched for a different show so I could really show you guys the colors. They are very bizarre, desaturated colors that I absolutely love and didn't know that I needed, but just beautiful colors that just I use all the time. So this is weird colors that, you know, your acrylic friends definitely won't have, but they are absolutely lovely. Again, kind of right in the middle, not heavy body, not a fluid acrylic, but kind of right in the middle. If you needed to bulk them up with a medium, you can. If you need to thin them down with medium, you can. They are nice and highly pigmented as well. So that is the 12 Shades of Grey. Then I'm going to kind of pull all of this up so I don't have to do that again. This right here is not a musician's tool. It's also not something to get your kids' attention. This is a maul stick. So they actually, you can use them like this to be able to, when you're painting on especially on an easel, and you put down, like say this is up on the wall, you can put that down on the side of your easel, rest your hand on it and paint, and have a nice steady hand to paint your acrylics on and not be touching your artwork. Because if you're anything like me, you'll lean into it. So this is something that's great for acrylics or oils. Anybody who uses especially an easel. Now you do have an additional little add-ons there, so you can make it extra long, especially if you're doing a longer piece, something that you really just need to like rest your hand on, or if you just really want to hit a really big drum. Now besides that, for the acrylic artists, I have, and excuse me, this is clearly my own because it's a little dirty, I have a couple of palette options. So I always tell my students that if they want to have a reusable palette, this is the way to go because it is a peel-off palette. Let your acrylics dry on there and they will physically just peel right off and you have a nice clean palette. You don't actually have to scrub your palette before or after painting. It's peel and go, which is really cool. I also really like the edges here, so if I make really big washes, it doesn't tip and fall onto my floor and make my landlord mad. Now, if you are the kind of artist that just doesn't want to clean, and that is becoming a hindrance to you, especially, or if you just really like the convenience of paper palettes, these right here are my jam. They are, again, the nice neutral gray. So I will open that up, right? Neutral gray color. There is the one with a thumb hole, and then there's the one without the thumb hole. So if you're like me and you like to just have your palette sitting on the table, the one without a thumb hole is great. If you like to physically hold your palette, this is a great option as well. But once I'm done painting, all I have to do is take the piece of disposable palette paper, rip it off, toss it in my trash, and then I'm done. And then I have a brand new clean palette. It's just, what? Now the other reason why I really like the gray tone, because they do also come in white, so that is an option, but I technically just prefer the gray just because this is a nice mid-tone color. So, and this actually happened during Art of the Carolinas. One of my students was mixing a really bright skin tone color, one of the highlight areas, and she was mixing it on her gray tone palettes and was like, this is a really bright color, I love it. Laid it down on her canvas. Her canvas is white, and it just didn't look as bright as when it was on this palette paper. But when she starts putting all those other colors near it, you're going to get that brightness back. But if you're mixing on a white surface, it's really hard to see where your values of your colors are when you're mixing them. So this is a kind of a really good way to really get those values of your colors. So gray tone palettes, they're my favorite. Now, brushes. For acrylic artists, I'm going to show you, it's the same brand, but I have long handle and I have short handle. Now this right here is the Black Swan. This is the set that comes in the brush, little foldable brush set, so you can actually have them on display. Like when you're ready to paint, you can just grab one and go. When you're done, you can just pop it right back into this little carrier, and then when you're done, it has this little, what's this called?
Oh.
This weird little
The thingy that
spring.
goes on.
Adjuster?
A what? I don't. Whoever knows what the name of this little
Squeezy
Toggle?
squeeze,
Yes.
squeezy toggle. It's a toggle. If it's not a toggle, let us know. But
It's a little thing that they put on the
yeah,
ends of your-
it's like the
inside your coat
tensioner
to-
thing
yeah.
for your coat. So once you squeeze it, it has a spring in there, and you can slide it up and down and kind of lock it in place. But that is what actually will fold your palette right back up, and be able to put it right back and zip it up to toss in your backpack, in your bag, wherever you need to go. But it'll also lock it in place, which I absolutely love. But those are the long handle brushes, so if you are somebody who wants to paint further away from your canvas, at an easel, this is great for you. If you like to paint up close, or if you like a short handle brush in general, this is the, again, Black Swan, but this is the short handle brush set. So this is a little bit of a different case. Again, it folds flat, and then it also zips up to where your brushes are really nice and protected, but it has a little bit of Velcro back here to where you can actually pop them up. But you can have them on display and ready to go whenever you're painting, which is really, really nice, especially when you don't want your bristles kind of getting damaged. So this is a really awesome way to have your brushes on display. But as far as acrylic painters go, this is my go-to, hands down favorite brush, just because it is nice and soft. It gives you those really lovely blends whenever you're doing blending with acrylics, but it also has a nice snap back to the bristles, so it keeps its shape, its form over time. So these are my personal favorite, and they're a really lovely brush. I actually still think I have the ones from forever ago, and I use them all the time. They're my daily go-to brushes. Now, again, if you're gonna be getting stuff for an acrylic painter and you still just don't know what to do, surfaces. We need surfaces to make art. So I got you a couple different options here. First option is, this is the Edge canvas. It is just a straight up stretched cotton canvas, nice sturdy. I personally love these because it is bulky. These are, you can actually get away with not having to frame them if you paint the edges, hence the name The Edge. But this is just a really nice standard canvas. They also come in a little bit thinner, as well as, I believe, even a little bit thicker. They come in like a 2-inch profile, which is awesome. So if you really don't want to frame your artwork, if you paint the edges of these, you can kind of get away with it, which is really cool. But that's a really fun, just base standard canvas. Then I have, this is a really fun option. It's a black gessoed canvas, and you know what, I'm going to even take it out of here so you guys can really see the canvas here, if I can. Apparently boxes and plastic are my nemesis. So it is a 2-pack, and they are the thinner profile, but it is completely gessoed black. So for anybody who has never painted on a black gessoed canvas, I highly recommend it. It is so much fun. It's just way different to paint on a black surface than a white surface. Now, keeping in that same kind of idea, I have it looks like it's a raw linen. It is actually linen, yes, but it is primed universally. So you can use this for acrylics or oils. And you know what? I'm going to actually take this open too so you guys can really see without a glare on there. But this is the Senso Universal Primed Linen Panel. So it actually has a clear primer on there, and you can actually see that color of that linen, which is just gorgeous. I mean, it is fantastic, but to have that nice mid-tone when you're painting, or be able to leave this and have this still visible when you're done, is a really fun option. Now, besides that, I got my favorite, which is the Da Vinci. This is the Pro Series Birch wooden panel. So this is raw birch, and it is lovely. It is not primed though, so be aware that anything you put on here is really going to soak up. So like I was saying with the watercolors, I kind of want to go through and do that transparent ground where I can still see that beautiful wood tone, but my watercolors are going to land on top of that and have a nice surface to paint on. You can paint straight onto the raw birch with some materials. Just be kind of aware that this is raw and it is going to slurp up all of those paints. So you might want to prime it with like a clear gesso. Now, besides that, I also have a canvas paper. So this is actually made for acrylic paints. Just FYI, it's not for watercolors or oils. I would not put oils on here. But it has that beautiful white color. It is paper, but it has a slight texture of canvas. But this is really, really fun if you're traveling, or if you are trying to do a bunch of test kind of paintings, and you're kind of either figuring out your palette or just kind of testing out how your style of a painting or anything like that is. But this is a really, really cool paper, and it does not buckle over time as far as whenever you put a lot of media. I've used gouache on here just because I was going to try and see how much I could put on there, and it didn't even buckle. But I would recommend this being used for acrylics, not gouache. I didn't quite like that, but it wasn't too bad. But that was all of our acrylic options, guys. Some of them kind of do teeter-totter into the oil painting stuff. But speaking of oil painting, we have more things to go over. So bear with me here. We have oil painting stuff. So we went through all the watercolor stuff. We went through all the acrylic stuff. This is our oils. So as I have here, this is the code for the teacher's cart. Just to make sure that we are clear, it is JL220, and that on the end is an O. The letter O, not the number 0. So number 0 and then the letter O. So O for oils. Quite straightforward. But that teacher cart is specifically for all of our oil painters in the viewerships. So if you have a friend who paints with oils, or even not 100% sure if they want to paint with oils, I wanted to give you guys some sets that would give you the option to either try it out, or somebody who knows that they love oils and wants a nice box set, or even I have a water mixable option as well, because I had to throw that in there. But let's go over these sets. So the first one I have is the Soho Oil Painting Complete Starter Set. So this has everything you're going to need in the actual set. First things first, we got 24 colors. I love them because they actually put the number right here. Woo! Now, this has 24 different colors of oil paints in the box set. A little bit of everything, very standard basic colors, but it gives you a lot of bang for your buck. These are still very nicely pigmented, especially for the price point is fantastic. Now, just keep in mind, this set right here is $90.29, but it comes with all of this stuff. Now, I'm sorry, Katie, I'm going to have to ask you, because I know how Amy is, Mihello is how she pronounces that. Is that correct?
Magello.
It's Magello. I thought that was right. So Amy likes to pronounce this Mihello, but it's Magello. It's the airtight painting palette. So this actually opens up, and then you have all the different wells, and I might as well open it up for you guys to check it out. But this right here, and actually, sorry, get that out of the way. This right here does have the little clamps on here that lock it into place, which is really nice. Your lid, I've had friends of mine use this as a mixing palette, but in general, this is where the magic happens. So you do have all the wells that are all around this to where you can put your paints and individually have them in there, and then you have a huge mixing area, which is really, really cool. This is something that I would definitely pair with the Soho artist wipes. We'll go over that in just a minute, but these are really, really awesome little airtight palette tray. So again, oils dry through oxidation. If you have this nice airtight lid sucked down onto your oils, you're going to slow the drying time, which is really, really good. Also, not having to worry about whether or not anything lands into your oil paints, like your cat, which is really good. This is a nice way of being able to seal it up. So those two are in the set, and then you also get a really awesome little set of the Pro Stroke White Bristle brush. So you get 5 different brushes, a huge variety of the different shapes as well, just to kind of see which brush shape really works for you, which one's your personal preference, you know. Then besides that, you also get these two. So this is the Primalba Impasto Medium. So this not only will add that nice impasto body to your paints, it will extend your paints, and then it will also get it to dry a little bit faster, which is really, really cool. Now, as far as how to use this, I would actually read the instructions on the back just to make sure you are paying attention to what's going on. But it's a really fun medium, especially if you're just trying kind of oil paints for the first time. Then I also have some Bristle Magic, which is a paintbrush cleaner, because let's be honest, you're going to need to clean your brushes, and oils do not get cleaned with soap and water. So you do need a little bit of this paintbrush cleaner. And this is also going to condition your brushes, which is really good. So those brushes will last you a very long time. Now, besides all of that, this is also in the kit. So this is the Paramount. This is a, I believe, cotton canvas. Yes, so it is 100% cotton. You can actually see the raw cotton on the back side here, just kind of a nice beigey kind of color. And then the front of it here is a nice pure white. So this is already primed and ready to go. It is not stretched, so it is just a loose sheet of primed canvas for you to paint on. This is an incredible way of either traveling around with your artists, like with your oil paints and everything, or being able to just test things out. So this is kind of my beginner set. If you're not sure if oil painting is for you, this is a really awesome starter set, because then you get to test out the oil paints, you get to test out the impasto gel, you also get to see and not have to have a whole lot of bulky canvases sitting around everywhere. So this is a really, really lovely set. So like I said, all of that is $90.29. So on a not a sale day, it is $166. So right now it's a really good sale. But this is the oil painting set kind of for my beginners. Now, this one is not what I would consider for my beginners. This right here is, let me get the right name here, the Lucas 1862 Artist Oil Wood Box Set. Now this has a lot of everything in there. Not only do you have the box set that does completely close and you can walk off with it. Hopefully I didn't just tip everything into a horrible, horrible mess. Sorry for those of you who just set this up. You guys are awesome. No, I didn't make a mess. We're good. No, you also get all of this, which is inside of it. Now I'll go through all of it because I know you can't see it all. You get the first, also, just to kind of keep in mind, these right here, the little dividers are interchangeable. You can slide them in and out and move them around where you can adjust whatever space you have in here to your supplies. So if you have a bigger tube, or maybe you have a bunch of rags that you want to shove in there, you can move those around, which is really fun. But you do get 5 different paintbrushes, so between filberts and flats, I believe, you get a good variety there. You also get 2 palette knives, which are really, really awesome and a good way to mix your paints without destroying your brush. You also get a huge tube of titanium white because, again, artists, we burn through our white paints. Then you also get these 2. Now this is bleached linseed oil for you to add that fatty content back in and get those really lovely glazes without having a really tinted linseed oil. So this isn't going to really affect your whites. And then I also have a brush cleaner, so again you can get your brushes clean. Then beyond that, we also have a little palette cup holder. This is specifically for oils. You want to make sure you get those the metal ones, because the plastic ones are not good for solvents. Those will probably be eaten by your solvents. So you also get all of these lovely colors. Now these are traditional oils, so keep that in mind. They're not the water soluble. Well, we'll go over that in a minute, but these are standard oils. So you get a huge variety of colors. I believe there are 10 colors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 colors. I can count, I swear. But yes, 12 colors in this box set. Now, beyond all of that, you get this really cool thing up here. So it has this little thing that turns, which is really, really awesome. And then your palette comes out, and you can actually paint with it that way. But then behind that palette, you have a tester panel that you can, it's a really thin little panel here for you to really just kind of experiment with your oils. And then, sorry, this is not my angle, you have a stretched canvas. Now this is an actual full-on canvas, and the really cool thing about this is that they do have little additional holders here, so if you are out plein air painting and you have your canvas there, and then you go to just leave, you can have it be in the side of your painting box kit, and then it won't actually flop out if you lock it in with this little dude, which is really, really awesome and a really nice way of traveling around. So this is an incredible set for those of your friends who are definitely oil painters. This is not something I would actually recommend for really the starter kit. This is more of the starter kit, but this is way awesome. Now this box set right here is on super sale. It is $119.99, and normal price for this bad boy is $425.90. $425.90. So right now it's, yeah, $120, which is incredible. So that is a really, really awesome little set. But I'm going to actually pop this over here and get it kind of out of my way. So, we we have one last set over here, which is really, really cool. Let me make sure my code is still visible for you guys. This right here is a beginner set for the Lucas Berlin. Now, the Lucas Berlin is a water mixable oils. So, it is a really, really awesome little starter set for, especially for those, this is kind of one that I would say if you're really starting to begin at the oil painting kind of extravaganza, this is kind of really a good starter set for you. Because it has a little bit of everything that you need to officially start painting, but it is water soluble. It is an oil that has a water soluble or a water emulsifier added to the oil so that you can actually break it down with water instead of solvents. So all of the things that come in this set, you get 10 colors, 10 different colors. They are, again, the base standard colors. They are the Lucas Berlin. That word Berlin is the one that indicates that it is water mixable. You also get a water mixable linseed oil. So this is not your standard linseed oil that comes with it. It is, again, something that breaks down with water. You also get Ebony Splendor long handle brushes. A huge variety. There are 8 different brushes in here, but they have that nice soft bristle so that you can get really nice, lovely transitions. You also get 5 different palette knives. So they are white palette knives, and it's kind of hard to see in this. I'm sorry. Let's just take it out so you guys can really see the different shapes, because you get a huge variety of shapes of palette knives. So a good variety, and let me actually not put them where it's a nice bright white color. You guys can see them. So you get a good variety of palette knife shapes. Again, really good to be able to mix your paints with, or if you do a lot of knife work, because you can paint with your palette knife, which is really awesome. You got, again, a nice little metal, again, metal you need for the oil painting, metal double palette cup. And then we have our Soho palette paper, so you don't have to clean, but this is technically the white one. It's not a huge stark white kind of a color, but it is white, but it is a really nice palette surface. It's got that nice slickness to it, so you can actually wipe it off if you're still in the middle of painting. Then you get the Paramount canvas pad. This is, again, the 100% cotton canvas, but it is ready to go. It is universally primed, so you can use it for oils or acrylics if you need to. And then we have a table easel. Now this guy actually comes in a nice little travel bag, which is really cool, but it is just a pretty standard base little aluminum table easel, so it's really lightweight, which is really awesome. So that is what I would consider like a nice beginner set for the water mixable oils. This set is, if I can find it, $91.89, and usually it is not on sale for $249.40. So you get a huge discount today, at least that I'm aware of. $91.89. That's how much all of this is, which is awesome. So that is our oil painting sets. Let me get this out of the way, because now I have those other items for your oil painters that just maybe you don't think of, or maybe they just definitely don't have. Again, the 12 shades of gray. Now, this unfortunately I don't have swatched because I just happen to have my acrylics swatched because of a previous show. You get the same colors though, and there are 12 different of those really desaturated, lovely gray tone colors, but they are so beautiful. I really like these as just a toss into my palette, which is really fun. Then I have my cube sampler set. Now, Chelsea Classical Studio oil painting cube is all of the things that they offer. So this has, not only does it have the linseed oil, which is nice and pale, it has a walnut oil, which is a different kind of a drying oil. It's a little bit clearer and does dry a little bit slower. Then we have a lean medium and a fat medium, which is really, really fun. So if you want to pull down the oil content in your paints, you can use the lean medium. If you want to up that fatty content in your oil paints, you can add the fat medium. Pretty straightforward. Then I have a lavender spike oil. So anybody who has kind of heard of lavender spike oil, it is essentially a non-carcinogenic solvent. So instead of using something that's very toxic like a turpentine, you can use the spike oil. So it works just like turpentine, even though technically it has an oil in the name. It's not consistency of oil, it's more consistency of like turpentine to where it's really fluid. But it's really, really nice. It does have a scent to it, so just keep that in mind. I attribute it more like lavender essential oil, but like if you are somebody who has a aversion to smells like Frida, well, Frida over there, she's not a huge fan of this just because she can't even be around people that have perfume on. But for me, I know this won't hurt me. This doesn't give me headaches long term. If I get it on my hands, it's not going to, harm me. It's non-carcinogenic. But then we have the Lavender Damar Varnish. So this is essentially the lavender spike oil as a solvent with the Damar Varnish crystals dissolved in it. So again, it's non-carcinogenic, which is really nice, but it will give you a really lovely varnish onto your oil paints. And then the last but not least, we have ways to clean your brushes. So this is the lavender brush cleaner, which is again the same kind of base like the spike oil. It's just really, really concentrated. So it's going to get that oil paint off of your brushes real fast. And then we also have a little lump of soap, which is the lavender and olive oil soap, which
I love it. It's amazing.
Frida does love the soap bar. So it actually is, I'm going to open it up here. You get a little lump of soap. Now this not only cleans your brushes, but it also conditions your brushes, which is really nice. And it also makes your hands feel nice and soft. I also have heard that it might even remove some laundry stains, but I didn't tell you that. It's not meant for laundry, but this right here is the little sampler set. So each of the bottles is 1 ounce. You get a little bit to try it out to see if you like it. Now, if you don't want all of these, we do have an additional little sample set where it has 2 different bottles. Let's see, we have one that has the linseed and the walnut oil. We have one that has the fat and the lean medium. We have one that has the linseed and the lavender spike oil. We have a couple different varieties where you get 2 of the bottles together, and then instead of getting all of these. Now, for this big cube, it is $40 today. For the little sample sets, they are usually $13.48, except for the oils. Those I actually pulled up was $10.98. So a little bit of a sampler bottles as well. So if you really are interested in trying these, you don't have to get the whole cube. But if you do want to try all of them, $40 for this whole box. Can't beat that. Now, besides that, whenever it comes to cleaning my oil brushes, this is the way I go. This right here is the Da Vinci airtight stainless steel brush washer. It holds 500 milliliters of fluids. So when I put my spike oil in here, or even the brush cleaner, depending on if I'm using it as a solvent or a cleaner, it goes in there, and I usually, because this is a little insert that has the little holes on the bottom and a little, I guess like a little bar that goes across to kind of hit your brushes off if you need to. This fits right inside. I usually fill my solvents up just to enough to where I can just see it come above those holes. And then that is a way that I get my brushes clean without having to damage the bristle. It really knocks off all of your oils without hurting them, really. And then the cool thing is that it has that rubber gasket on the inside. That way it is completely sealed, and that locks back in and would be completely leak-proof. And it has a little handle. Now this is definitely my go-to whenever it comes to oil painting. This is where I put my solvents. It's airtight. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry if it gets knocked over. And it really does help clean your brushes really nicely. Now, besides that, we have a couple brush options. So we have, right here is our, oh, it's actually open already. This is the Mimic Hog brush set. You get 20 brushes in here. Let me just double check. Yes, 20 brushes in this. It's a leatherette case. I don't believe this is real leather. It's leather-like. But you get 20 brushes. And this is a huge brush set. So the Mimic Hog brushes are kind of more of that natural bristle brush. So they have a nice kind of natural feel to them. They will leave behind some brush strokes and things like that. But you get a huge variety, but they are fantastic for oils. They'll really grip onto your oils and lay them down on the canvas really well. And they are long handle brushes. Now, if you are not a long handle brush set kind of a person, I got you. This right here is a combination of the Berlin and the Mimic Kolinsky sables. So the Berlin, and I'm sorry, this is the one that I use, so some of them might be a little stained. The Berlin is, these are all short handle brushes. The Berlin is a nice soft brush, but it does have a little bit more of a snappy bristle to it. The Mimic Kolinsky, pull one out, is a super soft brush, and this will give you those really nice, really soft blends. So really good variety of brushes for your oil paintings. But you get a grand total of 12 brushes in here, which is incredible. There's a lot of different varieties of sizes as well. So that's a really, really awesome brush set for your oil painting friends. But beyond that, maybe we just need some palette knives in our lives. So if you're a palette knife artist, or maybe you just need a variety of palette knives in your lives, this is the Painter's Edge palette knife set of 8. I love this thing so much. You can travel around with it. If you need a huge variety of palette knives, this is an awesome set because you also get the case that closes up and travels really, really well. And this right here, I believe, is only $24.99. So not bad at all. And you get a huge, huge variety. So palette knives are one of those tools that just as an artist you forget that you have it, or maybe you don't have it and you just forget that you maybe need it. But those are really, really fun. Then let's see, we got some palettes over here as well. This one, if you guys are familiar with my show, you'll see me use this a lot for my oil paints. This is actually a glass palette in that neutral gray. I'm a huge fan of the neutral gray, but this is the New Wave Posh. I always want to say Poshmark. It's Posh. It's just Posh. This is a glass palette. The reason why I like to use this is because I like the reusability and the cleanup on this. So if I have the Easy Wiper rags, I will either wipe that up and then just continue to paint on it, or I will let it actually dry on here and walk away from my oil paints. And then if I take a flat razor blade, I can actually just scrape off my old paint and then have a nice clean palette, and that's it. Really, really nice and simple. But I do like the size of it. It was the 12 by 16, and then I do love that reusability option, just because I'm kind of trying to really focus in on that in my life. But let's talk about some canvas. So no matter what, if your oil painting friends need something, it's gonna be canvas. This right here is the Centurion Oil Primed. So this is a pad of linen that is specifically primed for oils. So you can see the raw linen on this side, and then it has a nice primed surface over here. Now this is not something you're going to want to paint acrylics on. Don't put acrylics on there. Not a good combination. This is for oils. Definitely for oils. But this is really nice for travel. This is really, really awesome for travel. It's super lightweight. You get 10 sheets per pack. Or if you're trying to figure out your painting as well. Then if you want something a little bit sturdier that isn't so thin, it also comes in panels, which is really awesome. So this is the 3-pack. So it comes with 3 panels, but it does have that sturdy kind of panel backing as well. Again, I'm only showing you the 12 by 16. These all come in a huge variety of sizes. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit stretched, that also I believe comes in a stretched canvas. But I wanted to show you something a little different. This is the Paris Ultimate Linen Canvas. It is oil primed, and just such pretty packaging. And it also has these copper brads on the side, which I don't know about anybody else, but I just die for. These are amazing. I love them so much. Frida's over there going, yee! It's so pretty and so tactile. So it's something a little extra that, maybe other artists aren't using, but it is oil primed as well, but it is a nice linen, so you can actually see the raw linen back here. Sorry if I don't put a glare on it, but really lovely canvas, and it is stretched, so it is ready to go. And that is, I believe, all of my oil things. All of the oil things. So again, if you are interested in any of the things for oil painters, this is the teacher's code. So if you go to the website, jerrysartorama.com, type this in. That is the number 0, that is the letter O. So that'll pull up all the oil painting items. Now, last but not least, we do have some items here specifically for all artists. Now, I'm going to try to get through these as quickly as possible because I know it's already going a little late. But just a couple of things that maybe you don't know about or haven't seen before. The first thing I want to talk to you about are these mezzo racks right here. So they are completely modular, and they are individual pieces. You can buy as many of these or as a combination of these as you want. We have 2 of the straight options right here, and I'm going to show you this direction so you can really see the difference. This one right here is just for tubes of paint, and they hold a huge, huge variety of paints. This one right here is for paints, again, 2 different sizes, but also brushes, which is really nice. So I like to think of these as the things holding your brushes and your paints that you're using for your art pieces right now. This is a really nice way of keeping yourself organized while you're making a creative mess, which is great. Then I also have my corner rack. So if you have a desk like mine that goes in an L shape, this is a really nice place to put that. So then it can completely go around my desk and have all the spaces for all the different paints and stuff that I use. Again, you have spaces up here for brushes or pens. You can also do that. And then all the spaces for your tubes of paint, which is really cool. So nice way to keep yourself kind of organized, right? Then, I'm sorry, I also forgot. Since we're in the miscellaneous category words, the code for this teacher's cart is JL220M for miscellaneous. Kind of easy, right? Then beyond the mezzo racks, way to keep yourself organized, I wanted to show you guys my go-to item in my office. This right here is my Accurate Light tablet. It is a little bit pricier because, you know, you only buy it one time and then you're done. So this right here is the largest size available. It is on sale right now for $226.79. Normal list price is $375. It does go down and get smaller as well, but I love this thing. It's a little bit dirty. I'm sorry. This is literally the one in my office. But as far as when it comes to doing artwork, it's just such a useful tool. I can't even go into all the different ways that I can use it. If that will not stay up. Sorry, piece of paper. But it is something that you actually plug in, and then it has a dimming switch right here. So this is the brightest, lightest setting that it has to where if you need to do tracing or if you need to do lettering work, all the different things that I use this for just to make sure that I get things done on time. So this is just a indispensable tool in my entire office. This is just my favorite. Now beyond that, I also have ways of cleaning up. So I had already mentioned the Soho wet wipes. These are for every artist, really. This is just like you would think, a wet wipe. They are biodegradable, and they clean up literally everything. I've cleaned my clothes with this. I've cleaned my floor with this. I've cleaned the wall with this. Everything. This is a really like a go-to for me. It's fantastic. Then beyond that, you guys know I love Mies and Easy wipers. I use these all the time, so I go for the 5-pound box. This also comes in a 1-pound bag. So if you guys are watercolor artists or even any artist really, and you like to use cotton rags instead of like paper towels, this is my go-to. You can reuse them, you can wash them, you can use them again. And the cool thing is that they are completely degradable over time, which is great. Now, the other things that I have, I'm on the last couple things. Sorry, I know there's so much. I have aprons, because, you know, we artists, we need aprons. We're messy. This is my go-to apron. This is the New York Central apron. It comes in black or this neutral color as well. So if you want to paint it, which is really fun. I've had a lot of artists do that as well. But these, you can never have enough aprons, really. But they save our clothes, guys. This is a really, really, really awesome item. Now, these ones that I'm wearing right now, it is a super heavy-duty apron. So when you get it, it is a little stiff and it feels a little, like, thick. But nothing gets through it, let's be honest. It also has pockets long enough for a long-handled brush, and then a shorter pocket in front, as well as right here. This is a really strong Velcro. But this is for your phone as well, so your phone is protected and close to your heart as well. But they're really lovely. I actually really also adore the crisscross pattern in the back. They fit a lot of different bodies, a lot of different body shapes, which is really hard to find sometimes with an apron, something that really covers quite a lot, and adjustable, just to kind of make sure that it fits on you right. This is really, really nice. But just keep in mind, the more you wear it, the softer it gets and the more flexible it will be. So when you first get these, they might be a little stiff and a little heavy for you, but it's the more you wear it, the more it kind of molds to your body. You gotta kind of break them in a little bit, you know? But I love these. These are my go-to. Now, the very last thing I have is an easel. Now, we really, really, really can't do this justice without moving this out of the way. Hold on. Bear with us. One last thing. Ha-ha! All right. Easel. Now this right here, obviously, it's a bit of a mess because this is our studio easel. This is our go-to because it's our favorite. It is the H-frame Soho easel, and it's, as you can see, on wheels, so it completely moves. And moves with ease, but each wheel, I believe, is also lockable, so you can actually lock them just with your foot. But then this right here is a great place to put all of your, your items that you're using. Clearly, I still have my charcoal in there. But then, a place to hold your canvas without having to actually physically hold it. And then you got the adjustable, what is the term for this? I can never remember what it is. It's like the mast locking. Katie, do you know the term for this?
The top canvas holder.
Is that the technical term?
That's what I call it.
I know there's a word for it. I can't remember what it is, but that slides up and down so easy. Now the reason why we absolutely love this easel as well is because of that dark wood finish. It is just a lovely, lovely finish. It also has a very small footprint. So if you're like me and you have limited space sometimes, this is the way I like to go because it is not a huge kind of space-taking easel. It's a really small little profile, really small footprint as far as the base of it goes, and it is very sturdy. This we just absolutely adore. So that was everything. That was all of my items to show you guys for gift guides, and I hope you guys absolutely enjoyed it. There was a lot. So like I said, I am going to go through and I'm going to make sure I put timestamps for each category. So if you are a watercolor artist or an acrylic artist or oils, or even for the miscellaneous, I'm going to make sure to kind of chunk it up that way to where you know where to go and you don't have to watch all of it to get to that one little section again. But this is just a lovely array of things to get to your friends who are artists and maybe you don't know what you're looking for. But if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I know I haven't been able to really take a whole lot of questions throughout the show because there was just so much. I will absolutely make sure to go through and answer them for you. And then if you also want to reach out to me, you can on my Facebook page, which is Emmy, host of Jerry's Live. But that was the gift guide show. And make sure to join me next week as well because we're going to be making holiday cards. And I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. But that was it. I hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you next time. Bye.